Hey guys, welcome back for another library tutorial. Today we're going to be talking about another of our research databases that we have available to you. And this is the Gale in Context Research Articles tutorial. So if you have a research paper coming up and you kind of don't know where to start and you just need some basic research done, the Gale Research Articles is really a great place to begin. So the first thing you need to do is get to the NGC Library website, which I hope you guys remember how to do from our past tutorials. But once you're there, if you go across the top, you're going to go to our Symbaloo page. Now remember, our Symbaloo page is simply a collection of tiles, and each tile is a link to another resource that is either free or something that the district pays for. Now, if you're doing research, the tiles on the second half of the first row, the entire second row, and the second half of the third row are all designed to help you with research, creating citations, and writing a quality paper. So the one we're focusing on today is our Research Articles database that's provided by Gale. So you can see right here it says Research Articles. And it says NGC Trojans, or NGC 80 Trojans. This is our username and our password. Now, if you're logging in on the school network, it's possible they won't ask you for the username and password. But if you're using a home network, it will most likely prompt you to enter that information in. So it's right there for you on the tile. So simply click on the link, and it's going to take you to the Gale in Context High School Research Database. Now remember, a research database is going to be a much superior way of doing research as compared to just going to Google, because it's going to give you a lot more features that are designed specifically to help you with saving your articles, getting citations, marking them up, with notes and highlighting and so on. And you know that all of the research that is on this database has been peer-reviewed by experts in the field. You can pretty much trust that most of the stuff on this thing is accurate, unlike if you're researching on the internet where anybody can write anything and post it and nobody has to verify or prove anything with research necessarily. So you can see on the home page we have some topics of interest. So you can kind of click through. These are really some of the big topics everybody's talking about right now. So if you're looking for a topic, this is a good place to start. You can see they're broken down here by different subject areas like government, science, health, sports, and so on. So let's say you actually have a very specific idea of what you want to search for. So let's say you are researching vaping. You can simply type in vaping, and it's going to come up with an overview where you can hit read more. And if you scroll down, it's going to show you everything they have related to this topic. There are 9 reference materials about this topic. There are 363 magazine articles, 3 websites, 11 images, over almost 4,000 newspaper articles, 172 videos, 30 academic journals, 107 audio, and even 1 critical essay. So if you have an idea for a specific type of resource you want, let's say your teacher said you had to have 1 magazine article, 1 newspaper, and 1 academic journal in your research paper. The great thing about this database is you really don't have to go anywhere else to get those 3 things. If you want the magazine articles, click magazines. All of these are magazines written about your topic. If you need a newspaper article, click newspaper article. There's the newspaper articles about this topic, and so on, academic journals. So even though all of these resources are all on the Gale database, they are all different types of resources written by different publications, different types of journals, different authors. The database is simply the platform that they are housed in. So it's a really, really easy way to go to one place and get all of your research done. So let's say, let's go back to all content types. Okay. So let's say that you want to limit your research. If you look over here, it says filter results. One of the first things you can do is you can filter by publication date. So if you have a date range, if you want some things, or if you only want things published within the last 10 years, you can put in a date range here using this calendar. However, vaping is a fairly new topic. So let's say I only want things in the past year. So go ahead and click that. Now I only have 3 items in the featured content. And if I go to all content types, it's going to open back up. But you can see it really narrowed down my search when I said I only wanted things in the last year. You can also do a lot of other limiters, but the one I'm going to show you is the Lexile measure. So if you guys remember, we actually take that SRI test like 3 or 4 times a year. And that test is basically a test to tell you what your reading level currently is. So for example, if you're reading at like the 1,000 to 1,100 level, you probably don't want to try and be reading 300 or 1,300 and above articles, because the information is going to be really dense. It's going to be really a slow read, and it's going to slow you down in your research. So what you can do is you can actually say, I only want research articles within my Lexile range. So like I want them between 950 and 1150. And I'm going to go ahead and hit apply. Okay, now you can see I'm down to 6 videos, 14 audio, 15 magazine, and 67 news. So let's go to news. Okay, so you can see when you look over here to the left, these are all the articles that we have related to this topic, or all the newspapers. So let's say you found one that you want. Vaping-related lung injury still happening and may look like COVID-19. That sounds pretty relevant. So let's click on that title. And it's going to tell you right here, here's the author, here's the date it was published. It was from Consumer Health News, published by Health Day. It's an article, it's 621 words. It has even the Lexile measure, so it's a slightly higher reading level. So you can come down here and you can see this is the actual article that you can use to cite within your paper. So let's say that there's some things in this article that you're like, yes, this is exactly what I need to write my paper. First thing you can do right here, you can send this article to Google Drive. Now, I have already logged into my Google account, so if you've never done it before on this database, it's going to prompt you to log in with your Troy K-12 Google account. It's going to ask you to allow access, hit yes. And then if you want, it will send all of these articles straight to your Google Drive. So this way, if anything happens, like if your computer shuts down automatically, or you forget where you found a research article, all of it is already going to be saved on your Google Drive. And if you scroll down, at the bottom, you're going to see the citation. Because if you decide that you want to use any part of this article in your research paper, you have to have this Works Cited citation at the end of your paper. Like, it's non-negotiable. Because if you don't have this Works Cited citation basically saying that this is where I found this information and here's who wrote it, then you're going to be guilty of plagiarism, which is really obviously a bad thing, and I hope most of you guys know that already. So you also want to make sure that when you get your citation that you get the correct format. Like in English classes, you're going to use MLA, but like in a lot of science classes, you typically use APA. So you can copy and paste that Works Cited citation to like a Google Doc or a Microsoft Doc, however you want. Or if you'll notice right here, you can also export it to Google Drive, or if you have like the Microsoft version of OneDrive, you can do that as well. So that way, once you have saved the citation and saved the article, you have one resource and one Works Cited citation already done for your research project. So you really made a good start. There are other ways to manipulate this as well. So for example, up here, you can download it. So if you want to download it as a file to like your computer or your MacBook or your iPad, you can. Or you can print it, like maybe you're more of a hands-on person, want to have that physical copy to like highlight and cut up, you can do that. And over here, we have the option to translate. So maybe English isn't your first language. You can actually translate this article into like Spanish. So this way you can actually read the article in your native language. Like that may just be an option for you. Over here, if you want to make the font size smaller, like maybe that big font was just really bothering you, you can shrink the size. Or maybe you have bad eyes and you want to make the font a little bit bigger, you can increase the size. We also have the option to listen.
Vaping-related lung injury still happening and may look like COVID-19. Byline, Serena Gordon, Health Day reporter. Tuesday, June 30th, 2020, Health Day News, reports of
Okay, so I know the the narrator is not the best, very computer-esque voice to it, but the point is that if you need this article read to you, you still can just put in a pair of earbuds and listen to the article. Now there are some other buttons up here at the top available to you. So if you're looking at an article, you can hit the Cite button right there. There's that citation for this article again. You can send it, like if you need to export it, you can download it, you can print it. Keep in mind though, I've had kids in the past who, when they do their research, they like to come up here to this URL and they try and copy and paste that to a Google Doc, thinking that they can just click on this link later and it's going to take them straight back to this page on the database. This actually will not work, okay? The Gale database is something we pay for. So if you try and use this link up here, when you click on the link, it's going to block you because it doesn't recognize that you're going through the proper channels to get the database, and it's going to think you're trying to get their stuff for free. So if you use this URL right here, it is not going to let you get back to this article. If you really want to save a link to get back to this location, you need to use this Get Link button. That is the URL that you can copy and paste or save that will, when you click on it, take you straight back to this page. It's kind of like a permalink. So if you want to have links to your resources, that is where you go to get your links, not up here. Also, you'll see this button right here that says Highlights and Notes. This is something else that's really cool. Let's say you're reading a part of the article. Like right here, I think this, oh man, this is really good. I'm going to use it in my paper. I'm going to make it yellow, and I'm going to say use for my second argument point. And I'm going to hit save. So you can see as soon as I did that, under highlights and notes, it's saying right there I've got one yellow. So maybe I want to use all of my argument points for my second argument in yellow, all of my arguments for my first point in green. And you can color code them, which is going to make it really easy when it comes time to write your paper. And then let's say you're going to go back to your results. You're like, oh man, okay, what happened to my highlights and notes? Well, if you click on them, they're still there. There's the title of the article you used. There is the part that you highlighted, and here's the note about that part. So you have all that information saved there to help you organize your research. So the last thing, if you look on this homepage, we have some of these different buttons here too as well to help you. We have the permalink, we have the highlights notes. If you want to see what you've searched in the past, we have a title list. Or if you don't know what you want to do your research on, you can browse topics, and they have hundreds of topics available to you. Like maybe you really like the author Neil Gaiman. Click on him, and there once again are all the articles about this author. So hopefully this was a nice quick overview of the Gale in Context Research Articles database, and I hope that this is going to help you guys when it comes time for research. So if you guys have any questions or any problems getting on or logging in, please don't hesitate to contact me. You can stop by here in the library, or you can email me, and we will try and figure out a time to work together to make sure you guys can use these resources.